In this video, we're going to do Test Out Lab 6.3.6 Control GPO Inheritance in the Configuring Windows Server 2008 Active Directory. So in this case, what we need to do here is block inheritance from domain controllers OU, block inheritance on the servers OU, and enforce the default domain policies so that it can't be blocked. When you get into this lab, you kind of read what it is that you're supposed to do, and then you're going to click Start Lab. Once you click Start Lab, it opens up the viewer. Hopefully you have Silverlight working and enabled. If you get a message, you may need to download Silverlight, but if not, it should go right to this. And it talks about the little scenario that you're in, but what you're supposed to do in this one is, it says complete the following tasks. So we're going to block inheritance on the domain controllers OU, we're going to block inheritance on the servers OU, and we're going to enforce the default domain policy so that it can't be blocked. So where we're going to do that is we're going to click the Start button, and when that loads, you can see the administrative tools. Once the administrative tools pops up, you can find Group Policy Management here. I'm going to click on that to open the Group Policy Management console. Now once you have the Group Policy Management console, you always have to kind of drill down to where it is that you need to be. So you're going to click these little boxes. If it has a plus sign, you can click on it and then it'll expand and you can see all the different things underneath that area. So the first thing we need to do is block inheritance on the domain controllers OU. And notice how when I get to where I'm supposed to be doing, I always go back and look again at the instructions because I want to make sure that I don't miss anything, right? So one of the things we're going to do to block that inheritance of the domain controllers OU is to go over here. Here are the domain controllers. I can select it, right click it, and then select block inheritance. I see what's in here is the default domain controllers. That's fine. Okay, so I right click and select block inheritance, and then now you have this little exclamation point in blue that should pop up if you did that correctly. The next thing we want to do is block inheritance to the servers OU, which is right here. Again, we just right click, select block inheritance, select it with our left click, and then when we see the little blue box with the exclamation point, then we know that that has been done. And then we want to also enforce the default domain policy so that it can't be blocked. So in that case, we're going to right click the default domain policy and select enforce. And that's really it. This is really a small lab. That's all you had to do. But once you complete all the steps, and you make sure that you complete all the steps, there is a done right up here in the top right hand corner. I want you to select done, and then it will show you what your performance was, whether or not you passed, if you missed anything, and then it actually will tell you here are the steps that you might need to take in order to follow that lab. Those steps are so important because if you don't know what you're doing, then that can help you to find it. But here's something else too. Sometimes when you're going in Test Out and they want you to work with group policies, they don't always tell you how far you have to drill down into things. So don't be afraid to Google it. Don't be afraid to look it up on Microsoft.com. Microsoft.com has some absolutely fantastic help and support sites. So make sure you do that, because if you don't know where you're drilling down into, you're going to select the wrong thing. And when it comes to group policy, and it comes to inheritance, and it comes to rights, you have to be very careful and make sure that you are giving the correct rights to everyone. Because if you give the wrong rights to someone and something happens, you could actually be liable as a tech. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If I went a little too fast for you, just remember you can always click pause, you can back up, you can rewind, and you can do it again. Have a great day.